Good morning, everyone. We are gathered here for a guest lecture today. I would like to call Anushka and Megha from our batch uh, for doing the prayer.
बिंदु तुषार हार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्करा प्रभृतिभिः देवै सदा वन्दिता सा मा पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेषजाड्यापहा.
Good morning, everyone, esteemed faculty members, and my fellow batchmates. It is my great privilege and honor to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker for today's session, Dr. Amrutha B.L. Dr. Amrutha B.L. is presently serving as Associate Professor in the Department of Kriya Sharir at Mannam Ayurvedic Cooperative Medical College, Pandalam, Kerala. She is an accomplished academician, researcher, and administrator with over 9 years of experience in Ayurvedic medical education, research, clinical training, and hospital administration. Her academic journey reflects a consistent pursuit of excellence. She completed her BMS and internship in 2011 from Pankaj Kasturi Ayurveda Medical College. In 2016, she earned her MD in Kriya Sharir as a rank holder from SDM College of Ayurveda and Hospital, Hassan. Further strengthening her expertise in healthcare administration, she completed her MBA in hospital management from Sikkim Manipal University in 2022. Most recently, she achieved the prestigious milestone of earning her doctoral degree PhD in Ayurveda from Sumandeep Vidyapeeth, deemed to be university in 2026. Professionally, Dr. Amrita has held important academic positions, including serving as an assistant professor at Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Ayurveda before advancing to her current role as associate professor in Mannam Ayurveda Cooperative Medical College. Throughout her career, she has demonstrated remarkable dedication to teaching, student mentorship, academic leadership, and healthcare management. Her research contributions are equally noteworthy. Her postgraduate research focused on the analysis of the characteristics of Raj Pravriti in relation to Prakriti, conducted under the aegis of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Karnataka. In addition, she has authored and published numerous research articles, contributing significantly to the advancement of Ayurvedic knowledge. Today, we at Guru Gorakhnath Institute of Medical Sciences, Gorakhpur, are truly privileged to have such an accomplished scholar and inspiring educator amongst us. I am confident that her vast experience, academic insights, and practical wisdom will greatly enrich our understanding and leave us with valuable learning. On the behalf of entire GGIMS family, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to Dr. Amrutha B.L. Please give her a huge round of applause.
Thank you for the introduction. First of all, very good morning to one and all. And I would like to thank all the officials of the Kriya Sharir department for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Ma'am, am I audible? And can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible and your presentation is visible also.
Okay, then let's start with the discussion on our topic, understanding of Panchamahabhoota from Kriya Sharira perspective. And myself, Dr. Amrutha B.L, serving as an associate professor in Department of Kriya Sharira, Mannam Ayurveda Cooperative Medical College, Pandanam. So you all might have studied the concept of Panchamahabhoota already. Then we will have a small discussion.
Ma'am, can you please share your slides? Yeah.
Is it visible?
Thank you.
So our topic for discussion today is understanding of Panchamahabhoota from Kriya Sharira perspective. So you all might be knowing what is Panchamahabhoota. So Mahabhutas are the material cause of substances in the world. That is, Mahabhuta theory forms the basis of Ayurvedic physiology, pathology, and therapeutics. So it determines the composition of bodily tissues and medical substances. That is why in Susruta Samhita, Acharya have quoted, Bhudebhyo hi param yasmad nasti chinda chigilsige. That is, a physician should not think, despite the Panchamahabhutas as our body, our medicines, our physiology, or pathology, and treatment, everything depends upon the Panchamahabhutas. And Charaka Sutra, you will get another reference, Sarvam Dravyam Panchabhautikam Asmin Arthe. So these elements govern everything from the physiological functions to the personal traits, that is the prakriti of an individual, and their balance is essential for health. Next is, what is the definition of Bhuta? What do you mean by Bhuta? We will get a reference from Vaisheshika Sutram, that is Nityatve Sadi Gunavat Samavai Karanatvam Bhutatvam. That is, the features of Bhutatva are Nitya, that is, they are eternal, and Gunavatva, that is, they should possess a property, that is, a state of being endowed with properties or attributes are the main feature of Bhutatva, and Samavai Karanatvam, that is, this Gunatva should exist in this particular Bhuta in inseparable relationship, that is Samavai Karanatvam. That is why in Vaisheshika Sutram, Acharya have told that is Nityatve Sadi, Gunavat Samavai Karanatvam Bhutatvam. And in Muktavali, we will get the reference, Bahirindriya Grahya Vishesha Gunavatvam Bhutatvam. That is, Bhutatva is a possession of Vishesha Guna, that is any special attribute which is perceivable with our Bahirindriya. It should possess a property it should be perceivable with our Indriyas. Then only it will be called as a Bhuta. You all know which are the Panchamahabhutas? They are Prithvi, Up, Jalam, Vayu, and Akash. Prithvi, Up, Tejo, Vayu, and Akasha. From Sarga Samhita, Mahabhudani, Kham, Vayu, Ragni, Raba, Kshidistada. Akasha is nothing but ether or space. Vayu is air, Agni is fire, Jala is water, and Prithvi is earth. So coming to the characteristics of Panchamahabhutas, Kharadrava Chala Ushnatvam, Pujana, Pujala, Anila Tejasa, Akashasya Apradikhado Drishtam Lingam Yathakrama, reference from Charga Samhita. That is, Prithvi, it possesses the characteristics of coarseness or solidity. Jala, it possesses liquidity or moisture. Agni, hotness or transformation. Vayu, mobility or lightness. And Akasha, it is non-interruption or expansion or the ability to expand, occupy the space. Then coming to the Vishesha Gunas of Bhutas, again the reference from Charga Samhita, Mahabhudani from Vayu Raknidava Kshidistada, Shabda Sparshascha Rubam Charaso Gandascha Tadguna, Tesham Ega Gunaha Purve, Gunavruddhi Pare Pare, Purve Purva Gunascheva, Kramasho Gunisha Smrudha. You all might be knowing this sloga. That is, each Bhuda additionally possesses the Vishesha Guna of the preceding Bhuda. That is, Shabdam, Sparsham, Rubam, Rasam, and Gandha are the special attributes of the Mahabhuta in the order, that is, Kham, Vayu, Agni, Abha, and Kshidi. And the peculiarity is that each Bhuda, in its progress of formation, they will possess the special Guna of the preceding Bhuda. That is, Akasha, which is believed to be the foremost Bhuda or first formed Bhuda, it possesses the special Guna of Shabda. And next comes the Vayu. Vayu possesses the Guna of special Guna of Shabda, special Guna of Sparsha, along with the Shabda Guna of Akasha. Then next comes Agni, which possesses a special Guna of Rupa, along with the Shabda and Sparsha Gunas of Vayu and Akasha. Then next comes Jala, which possesses a special Guna of Rasa, along with the Gunas of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa of Agni, Vayu and Akasha. Then Prithvi, the last Bhuda, Prithvi, which possesses a special Guna of Gandha, along with the Gunas of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa and Rasa of Jala, Agni, Vayu and Akasha. The next is how the Mahabhutas originated. That is the origin of Mahabhutas. The reference is from Susruta Samhita. In Susruta Samhita, Acharya have mentioned the Srishti Utpatti Krama. That is, Sarva Bhudanam Karanam Akaranam Sattu Rajas Tamo Lakshanam Ashtarupa Makhilasya Jagadaha Sambhava Hedu Avyaktam Nama. That is, the origin of all Srishti starts from Avyaktam. That is, from Avyaktam, Mahat originates, then from Mahat Ahangaram, and Ahangara is divided into three: Vaikarikam, Taijasam, and Budadi. And from Vaikarika and Taijasa Ahangaras, the Ekadasha Indriyas, that is the 5 Karmendriyas and 5 Budrindriyas, along with the Ubhendriya Manas originates. Then from the Budadi Ahangara, along with Taijasa Ahangara, the Panja Tanmatras, that is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha, from which the Mahabhutas originated. So this is the course of origin of the Panchamahabhutas. Then another reference, continuation to the above previously said sloga. Susracharya is telling that is Anyonya Anupravishtani Sarvani Edani Nirdished Sve Sve Drevye to Sarvesham Vyaktam Lakshanam Ishyade. That is, all the Panchamahabhutas, they can grow into a single body or system, and they can display their own attributes in all substances of their predominance. That is Anyonya Anupravisham. They can get into each other so that they can grow into a system or a body. And the process by which the Bhutas are converted into or transformed into a state of Mahabhutas is called as Panjikarana. And this Panjikarana happens due to this Anyonya Anupravesham. They can get into each other to form a gross substance. That is, Panjikarana is a process in which the invisible Bhutas combine with each other to form visible Bhutas. Only when it gets the form of Mahabhuta state, it can be perceived through our Indriyas, Bahirindriyas. We have previously said Bahirindriya Grahya Vishesha Gunavattam Bhudatam. They should be perceived through our Indriyas only when they are getting the property of Mahabhudatvam. Okay, that is, each Drishya Bhuda contains all Bhudas in varying degrees of predominance. For example, in Prithvi Mahabhuta, you will get the predominance of Prithvi Bhuda along with all the other Bhudas. Prithvi Mahabhuta will be having the predominance of Prithvi Bhuda along with the Anyonya Anupravesha of Up, Tejas, Vayu and Akasha Bhudas. Likewise, Up Mahabhuta will be having the predominance of Up Bhuda along with the Anyonya Anupravesha of Prithvi, Tejas, Vayu and Akasha. Likewise, all the 5 Mahabhutas will get its Mahabhutatva property. Next, a reference from Charaka Samhita Sutram. Sarvam Dravyam Panchabhudikam Asminatte, we have already seen, that is, all Dravyas are made up of Panchamahabhutas. Such Dravyas are Chedanavat or Achedanavat. That is, whether a being is living or non-living, all are made up of Panchamahabhutas. Then another reference from Charagam. Iha Hidravyam Panchamahabhutatmakam Tasya Adhishtanam Prithvi Yoni Udagaha Ka Anila Anala Samavayani Nurti Vishesha from Ashtanga Sangraham. That is, all the substances are made up of the Panchamahabhutas with the Adhishtana of Prithvi and Yoni is Udaga along with the other 3 Mahabhutas. Then coming to the Bhaudik Gunas of Dravyas, that is Parthiva Dravyam, Apya Dravyam. Based on the predominance of a particular Mahabhuta, Dravya has been classified into 5 types, that is Parthivam, Apyam, Agneyam, Vayavayam, and Nabhasam. Then coming to the properties of Parthiva Dravya, that is Tatra Dravyam, Guru Stula Stira Gandha Gunolbanam, Parthivam, Gaurava Stairya Sankhada Upajayabaha. That is a substance which is made up of the predominance of the Prithvi Mahabhuta. Prithvi Mahabhuta is having the properties of Guru, Stula, Snigdha, Gandha, Gunas. And such a dravya will be having Gaurava, Stairya, Sankhada, Upajaya properties. And such a dravya is called as Parthivam. Likewise, a material or a thing which is predominant of Up Mahabhuta, and Up Mahabhuta is having the properties Drava, Shida, Guna, Snigdha, Manda, Sandra, Gunolpanam. And such a dravya will be having Snehana, Vishyantana, Kledana, Prahlada, Bandakrit. Likewise, Agneyam. Agneya Dravya, because of the Ruksha, Teshna, Ushna, Vishada, Sukshma, Rupa gunas of Agni Mahabhuta, and Agneya Dravya will possess Daha, Ha, Varna, Pragasha, Upajayam as its properties. Likewise, because of the predominance of Vayu Mahabhuta, which is having the gunas of Ruksha, Vishada, Lakhu, Sparsha gunas, a Vayava Dravya will be having the properties of Raukshya, Laghava, Vaishadya, Vichara, Glani, Karagam. Then the last, that is Nabhasa Dravyas, because of the properties Sukshma, Vishada, Lakhu, Shabda of Nabhas or Akasha, a Nabhasa Dravya will be Saushidya, Laghava, Karam. So these are the properties of Dravyas according to the predominance of the Panchamahabhutas, reference from Ashtanga Hridayam Sutram. Then Khadini Atma Manakkalo Dishascha Dravya Sangraha. That is another Dravyas, reference from Charga Samhita. All the Dravyas are constituted by the Panchamahabhutas, soul, mind, time, and space. So when we are seeing almost all the concepts of basic concepts of Kriya Sharira, we cannot think despite of the Panchamahabhutas. In every concepts of Kriya Sharira, Acharyas have clearly mentioned the role of Panchamahabhutas. So we are going to see one by one. Next, atom. You all know what an atom is. It is a fundamental particle of a substance. That is atom, which is a modern science considered as a unit of all the elements and is also comprised of the 5 Mahabhutas. That is, atom is a basic fundamental concept of all the concept of matter, and we can include or imbibe the concept of Panchamahabhutas in atomic level also. That is, the atomic weight of electrons, protons, and neutrons. You all know an atom is composed of a nucleus, electrons, protons, and neutrons. Okay, that is the atomic weight of electrons, protons, and neurons are nothing but the Prithvi Mahabhuta, and the force of cohesion which helps to remain attracted towards each other is the Jala Mahabhuta, and the energy produced inside the atom is nothing but the Agni Mahabhuta, and the force of movement of electron is constituted by the Vayu Mahabhuta, and the space in which the movement takes place, that is the space occupied by the atom, is the Akasha Mahabhuta. Likewise, we can imbibe the concept of Mahabhutas in almost all the matters from the atomic level. Next is in a cellular level, how we can include the concept of Panchamahabhutas. That is, the inter and intracellular spaces constitute the Akasha Mahabhuta, and all sorts of cellular movements is by the Vayu Mahabhuta, and the enzymatic activities Agni Mahabhuta, extracellular and intracellular fluids the Jala Mahabhuta, and the mass of the cell is the Prithvi Mahabhuta. The next is how it can be implied in a systemic level. For example, you are taking the digestive system. The parts of the digestive system like mouth, stomach, etc. constitute the Prithvi Mahabhuta, and the secretions like saliva, succus entericus, etc. the Jala Mahabhuta. Then action of the digestive enzymes is nothing but the Agni Mahabhuta. Then the movements of GAT by the Vayu Mahabhuta, and the space or hollow lumen inside the digestive system, that is the space occupied by the digestive system, is the Akasha Mahabhuta. Then one of the earlier concepts or the concept we studied priorly in Kriya Sharira is Purusha. And what is the relationship between Purusha and Panchamahabhuta? We have seen different types of Purusha, that is Shaddhadu Purusha, Chaturvamshatidhadu Purusha, etc. First one, the Khadesh, Chedana, Shashtadhadavaha Purusha Smrdaha, that is Shaddhadu Purusha. Here in Shaddhadu Purusha is nothing but the human body. It relates to the human body, and it is constituted by the Khadaya. Khadaya means nothing but the Panchamahabhutas along with Chedana. It constitutes the Shaddhadu Purusha, which forms the substratum of treatment. That is, next is A reference from Susruta Samhita, that is Panchamahabhoota Shariri Samavayah Purusha iti uchyate. Tasmin Kriyaso Adhishthana. Here also Panchamahabhoota plus Shariri. And all these Panchamahabhutas and Chetana. Shariri is nothing but life or Chetana, which is existing in a Samavaya relationship. That is inseparable relationship. It is nothing but Purusha, according to Susruta. Same concept also as of Charaka Samhita. The next is Satra Shariram Nama Chetana Adhishtana Bhudam Pancha Mahabhuta Vikara Samudayatmadam. That is, the Sharira is made up of the Pancha Mahabhuta Vikaras, different combinations or different proportions or different permutations and combinations of Pancha Mahabhutas constitute a Sharira. That is, Satra Shariram Nama Chetana Adhishtana Bhuta, which forms the Adhishtana for Chetana. In this Sharira, which is constituted by the Pancha Mahabhutas, the Chetana exists. That is, life exists. Then next is Asmin Shastre Panchamahabhuta Shariri Samavayah Purusha Ityuchade. Again, reference from Susruta. That is, there is a Samavaya relationship between Panchamahabhuta and Chetana. Then next is the base concept of Kriya Sharira is doshas. Then what is the relationship between doshas and Panchamahabhutas? In our Shastra, that is Panchamahabhuta form the basis of the classification of doshas, dhadus, malas, ahara, aushada, and environment. A reference from Susruta, dosha, dhadu, mala. The first one of the important slogas, first slogas we study in physiology is dosha, dhadu, mala, moolam, sada, dehasya, or dosha, dhadu, mala, moolam, hi shariram. Right. So the dosha, dhadu, mala, Panchamahabhuta, vigaratvena, Panchabhaudika. That is all the basic concepts of Kriya Sharira or the basic constituents of Sharira, that is doshas, dhadus, and malas. They are Pancha Mahabhuta Vigaratvena Panchabhaudika. They are all Panchabhaudika, but the difference is that there is Vigara or difference in proportion for the permutation and combination of these Pancha Mahabhutas, which constitutes doshas, dhadus, and malas. Then Bhaudikaha Kayo Doshascha Sahajayanda Ityabhidanada. That is a Vaisheshika Sutra. Nothing but all these states, nothing but all are made up of Panchamahabhutas, including doshas, dhadus, and malas. Vayu Akasha Dhadubhyam Vayuhu Agneyam Pittam and Ambha Pridhivyam Sveshma, reference from Ashtanga Sankaram Sutra. That is all the three doshas. They are tridoshas. They are classified into Vada, Pitta, and Kapha because of the predominance of particular Mahabhuta. That is why the doshas have to get classified as three. That is Vayu, Akasha, Dhadipya. When there is a predominance of Vayu and Akasha, we will call it as Vayu or Vada dosha. And when there is a predominance of Agni Mahabhuta, it will be called as Pitta dosha. And when there is a predominance of Ambha and Prithvi, we will call it as Kapha dosha. Then reference from Susrutam Bhanumati Tika, Tatra Vayoho Vayureva Yoni, Pittasya Agni, Kapasya Apaha, Evam Dhadu Malaksheyabi, Swayoni Vardhanam Vyakhyayate. That is, for Vada dosha, Vayu is the Yoni, and Pitta dosha, Agni is the Yoni, and for Kapha dosha, Ap Mahabhuta is the Yoni. And when there is a Kshaya of any particular dosha, we can use Swayoni Vardhanam, Aharam, or Aushadam for the increase or to nullify the Kshaya of that particular dosha. Then next, another important concept of Kriya Sharira is Prakriti. And what is the relationship between Prakriti and Panchamahabhuta? That is, the Prakriti of the individual has been classified into 5 types based on the Panchamahabhuta itself. That is Bhaudika Prakriti. Apart from Doshaja Prakriti or Manasika Prakriti, there is another sort of classification based on the Panchamahabhuta itself. That is the Bhaudika Prakriti. Reference from Susruta Shariram. Prakriti Miha Naranam Bhaudikim Kechidahu. That is Pavana Dahana Toyehi Tirtadasta Tisraha. Stira Vipala Sharira Parthivas Chakshamavan and Shujiratas Chiranjeevi Napasaha Khair Mahadbhi. That is Pavana Dahana Toyehi. This is the classification based on Vayu, Agni, and Apmahabhutas. It represents nothing but the Vada Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti, and Kapha Prakriti. Then Stira Vipula Shariraha. Next classification comes according to the Prithvi Mahabhuta, that is Parthiva Prakriti, which possesses the qualities of Stira, Vipula Sharira, and Kshama. The next is Napasa Prakriti, that is Shuchirata, Chiranjeevi, Napasaha, Khair, Mahatpi. Their channels will be very broad. They will be Mahat Khair. Kham means channels. Khair, Mahatpi means larger channels. So these are the characteristic features of Prakriti according to the Panchamahabhutas. You might have already studied these logas. Then next is another important concept, very unique concept of Ayurveda, that is Agni and Panchamahabhutas. So you might have studied the 13 classifications of Agni, that is Jadaragni, Bhudagni and Dhatuagni. So here there is a classification particularly based on the concept of Panchamahabhutas, that is Bhudagni, that is Bhaumya, Apya, Agneya, Vayavya, Panchaushmana, Sanabhasa. There are predominance of the Mahabhutas. Panja Ahara Gunan Swan Parthivadin Pajandihi. That is, what is the use of this Panja Mahabhutas or Panja Bhudatni? That is, this particular Bhudatni will digest the Ahara which we ingest, and the Ahara is made up of Panja Mahabhutas, and the particular Mahabhautik contents will be digested by the Parthiva Agni. Likewise, 5 Bhudagnis are there: Bhaumya, Apya, Agneya and Vayavya, then Nabhasa. The next is Pajaka Pittam. Pajaka Pittam, what Acharya is saying in Ashtanga Hridaya, Panja Bhudatmakatve Abhi. The slogan is starting itself like that, Panja Bhudatmakatve Abhi. Even though it is made up of Panja Mahabhutas, Tejasa Gunodayada, it is having the predominance of Agni Mahabhuta. It is came to be called as Pajaka Pitta, which is the primemost classification among the 5 types of Pitta. That is Pajaka Ranjaka, Sadhaka, Alojaka and Pajaka. And the Pajaka Pitta is the main Pitta which is helping in digestion, and how it is getting the capability of digestion means Tejasa Gunodaya, that is having the predominance of Agni Mahabhuta. That is Pancha Bhudatmakatve Abhi Tejasa Gunodayad Ketta Dravatvam Pagadi Karmana Anala Shabdidam. Then it is getting the title of Analan because of the increase in Agni Mahabhuta. Pachatyannam Vibhajare Saragitto Pradaktada Tatrastameva Pittanam Shishanam Api Anugraham Karodi Beladana. You all know the slogan. So that is the here also the concept of Pancha Mahabhuta is clearly, surely imbibed in this particular slogan. Then the next concept of Kriya Sharira is Dhadus. What is the relationship between Dhadus and Panchamahabhutas? Again, reference from Susrutam Bhanumati Tika. That is, Tatra Pancha Bhudatmagatvena Rasaha Apya. Even though made up of all the Saptadhadus are made up of Panchamahabhutas, they are having particular Bhuta predominance, and Rasadhadu is having Up Mahabhuta predominance, that is Rasaha Apyaha. Then Rektam Tejo Jalatmagam, Mamsam Parthivam, Medo Jala Prithvi Atmakaraha, then Asti Prithvi Anilatmagam, Majja Shukram Cha Apyam, Mutram Jalam Analatmagam, Purisham Parthivam Martavam Agneyam Svedastanyam Cha Apyam. So all the Dhadus and Malas have been clearly described here with the predominance of their particular Mahabhutas in Bhanumati Tika. Then Panchamahabhuta and Raktadhadu. Although we have told that Raktam Tejo Jalatmagam, Susruta Acharya have considered Rakta as the 4th dosha, or he is considering Raktadhadu with that much importance. So in Susruta Samhita we will get a reference. Panchabhaudigam tu abare Jiva Raktamahur Acharya. Even though it is made up of Panchamahabhutas, we can clearly see the Lakshanas of particular Panchamahabhutas in Rakta. That is Visrada, Dravada, Ragaha, Spandanam, Lakhuda, Tada, Bhumyadinam Guna. So the Bhumyadi means nothing but the Panchamahabhutas. So Bhumyadinam Guna, you can see Drishande, Chatra, Shonida. You can see in Shonida, Visrada for Prithvi, Dravada for Up Mahabhuta, Raga for Agni, Spandana for Vayu, and Lakhuda for Akasha. These are the characteristic features of particular Mahabhutas in Rakta Dhadu. The next is Ahara. Annam Praninam Pranaha. You all know what is the importance of Ahara to a body. And the Ahara is also made up of Panchamahabhutas. Reference from Susrutam. Panchabhutatmagatve dehehi Aharaha Panchabhaudikam. That is, in the body which is made up of Panchamahabhutas, we are ingesting Ahara for the nourishment of that particular Sharira, which is again made up of the Panchamahabhutas. Vibhakvam Panchada Samyak Gunan Swan Abhivartade. That is, if there is a deficiency of a particular Mahabhuta in our body, you can nullify it with, you can compensate it with consuming the Aharas which is made up of that particular Mahabhuta predominance. That is Panchamabhutatmakatve dehehi aharaha panchabhaudikaha vibhakvam panchada. Vibhakvam panchada. This particular ahara which is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas, it is digested into 5 types. Vibhakvam panchada samyak. How it is getting digested into 5 types? Because of the presence of 5 types of Bhudatmi. Parthiva, Agneya, Agni. We have told about Bhudatmi. So with the help of this Bhudatmi, the ahara which is Panchabhaudika, which is getting digested into this Pancha Mahabhutas, which is again nourishing our Sharira, which is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas. Then in the Utpatti of Anna also, Acharya have mentioned the importance of Pancha Mahabhutas. Here is a reference from Taittiriya Upanishad. That is Akashad Vayuhu, Vayos Tejaha, Tejasaha Udagam, Udagad Prithvi, Prithvya Aushadaya. Aushadaya is nothing but the plants. Aushadebhyo Annam. From the plants we will get Aharam. That is Aushadebhyo Annam. So the origin of Anna is from nothing but the Pancha Mahabhuta and Annad Purusha. The next is the first dhadu, just the rasa dhadu. That is formation. What is the importance of Panchamahabhuta and rasa dhadu? That is Tatra Panchabhaudigasya. You might have already knowing this sloga. Tatra Panchabhaudigasya Chaturvidasya Shatrasasya Duvidhavirasya Ashtavidhavirasya Vanega Gunasya Ubhayuktasya Aharasya Samyik Parigadasya Tejo Budasaraha Paramasokshmaha Sarasa Idi Uchede. What is rasa? Tatra Panchabhaudikasya, the ahara. Here Acharya is telling about the peculiarity of our ahara. Ahara which is made up of Panchamahabhutas. Panchabhaudikasya, Chadurvidhasya. 4 types of ahara are there. Then Shadrasasya ahara have 6 rasa. Then Duvidha Viryasya, 2 types of virya. Achida and Ushna. Then again there is 8 types of classification of virya. That is Duvidha Viryasya, Ashtavidha Viryasya. Aneka Gunasya Ubhayuktasya aharasya. Ahara is not, we cannot confine ahara to above said gunas. Ahara is having so many gunas. And this particular ahara made up of Panchamahabhutas, which is undergoing Samyik Parinidasya, undergoing particular or complete transformation or proper type of transformation with the Agni. Then it will be called as rasa. It's Tejo Bhudasaraha Paramasukshmaha Sarasa Ityuchade. Okay. So again, in the formation of rasa also, we can see the influence or the Acharya is clearly mentioning the role of Panchamahabhutas. Tatra Panchabhaudigasya aharasya. Then what is the role of Shadrasas and Panchamahabhutas? Shadrasas, you all know the Shadrasas, Madhura, Amla, Lavana, Swadam, Kartikta Kashaya, the Shadrasas, and the rasa, and the origin of rasas, reference from Ashtanga Sangraham Sutram, Sa Khalu Apyaha, Rasaha Khalu Apyaha. Even though the rasas, they are predominant of Apmahabhudaha, Praga Avyaktascha. That is, during the time of origin, they were Avyakta. The 5 tastes were Avyakta during the prior times of formation. That is, because of the effect of Shad Ridus. Sa Shad Ridukatvad Kalasya Mahabhuta Gunai Runadiriktehi. Here also, because of the effect of the 6 seasons and by the permutation and combination of the Pancha Mahabhutas, or the predominance of the Pancha Mahabhutas, that is Mahabhuta Gunai Runadiriktehi. Samsrishtam Vishamam Vidakdaha, Shoda Pradak Vibrinamade Madhurada Pedena. The 6 rasas starting from Madhura, they originated because of the influence of the Shad Ridus and the Mahabhutas, Pancha Mahabhutas. So in the origin of rasa also, we can see the influence of Pancha Mahabhutas. And Tatra Bhu Jalayor Bahulyan Madhura Rasa. Madhura Rasa having the predominance of Prithvi and Jala, Bhu Tejasor Amlaha, Jala Tejasor Labanaha, Vayu Agashio Stikta, Vayu Tejasor Kadagaha, and Vayu Rubyu Kashaya. The next is Garbha. Garbha and Panchamahabhutas. What is the role of Panchamahabhutas in intrauterine life? This sloga you might have studied in anatomy, it seems. Reference from Susura Shariram. Shukra Shonide Samyoge to Kalu Kukshigade Garbhasapnya Idi Bhavadi. Tam Chedana Vastidam. Vayur Vibhajadi. Teja Enam Pajadi. Abaha Kledendi. Prithvi Sambandhi and Agasham Vivardhayadi. Here also the role of Panchamahabhutas have been clearly mentioned. That is Vayu, which is helping in Vibhajana, that is cell division. Agni, Pajadi, that is cellular metabolism. Then Abaha Kledendi, that is in the fluid balance. Then Prithvi Sambandhi, it keeps the cellular mass together. It helps to get the shape for the fetus. Then Akasha Vivardhayati, that it provides the space for growth, or it helps in the occupying, it helps in occupying the space. So that is the role of Panchamahabhoota even in intrauterine life. Then next is Indriyas and Panchamahabhutas. Indriyas, you all know what is Indriya. Indriya is a sign of existence of prana. Even, for example, a person is live, we can see that whether he is having the perception, where his senses are working well, then we can say a person is having life or prana. So it is a sign of existence of prana. And there are 11 indriyas. You all know the 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, and next is ubhayendriyam, which is nothing but manas. So which are the jnanendriyas? Tatra chakshu, srotram, ghranam, rasanam, sparshanam idi pancha indriyani. The indriyas are the part of the Pancha Panchagas. Pancha Panchagas you will see later. That is 5 pentats. A group of 5 fives. That is Pancha Panchagas explained by Charaka Acharya. We will see later. Then how the indriyas forms? Formation of indriyas. Indriyani, Shravana, Sparshana, Rasana, Kranani, Bhaudikani. All the indriyas are also Bhaudikam. That is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas. Tatha Choktam. Panchabhutatmakatve abhi kham stotre. That indriyas is also having predominance of particular mahabhutas. Kham stotre. In yes, stotram there is a predominance of kham mahabhuta. Then sparshane vayuhu, darshane tejah utkadam, salilam rasane, bhumir ghrane, and tejair nirupita. So you can see the predominance of particular mahabhutas in indriyas also. Then what is the relationship between Mahabhutas, Indriyas, and Indriya Adhishtanas? This logo you might have already seen. Tatra Gandhavadi Prithvi. Prithvi is having Gandha Guna. You have studied. Tatra Gandhavadi Prithvi. Indriyam Gandhagrahagam Kranam. So the Indriya which is helping perceiving Gandha is Kranam, and that Krana Indriya is having the Adhishtana of Nasa. Tacha Nasa Agra Varti. Next comes Shida Sparshavatyaha Abaha Indriyam Rasagrahagam Rasanam. So the Rasa is the guna for Up Mahabhuta, which is the Indriya which is helping to grasp Rasa is Rasanam, and the Adhishtana for the Indriya Rasana is Jihva. That is Indriya Adhishtana is Jihva. The next is Ushna Sparshavatyaha Tejaha Indriyam Rupagraham Chakshu Krishnataragravarti. Chakshu Indriya, which is helping for Rupagrahana, it is residing in Krishnataragra, that is in your eyes. Then Ruparahita Sparshavan Vayu Indriyam Sparshagraham Tvak and Sarva Shariravarti. Tvak is residing in every part of the body. Then Shabda Gunagam Akasham Tachegam Vibhu Nityascha. Likewise, a reference you will be getting from Tarka Sangraham. Then I have already told about Pancha Panchagas, that is 5 pentats. What is the Pancha Panchagas and what is the relevance of this Pancha Panchagas? Which are the Pancha Panchagas? The group of 5, that is Pancha Indriyani. Pancha Indriyani are 5 in number. Pancha Indriya Dravyani, which are again 5 in number. Pancha Indriya Adhishtanani, again 5 in number. Pancha Indriya Arthaha, 5 in number. And Pancha Indriya Buddhyaha, again 5 in number. And all are based on the Panchamahabhutas. And this Pancha Indriyani, Pancha Indriya Dravyani, Pancha Indriya Adhishtanani, Pancha Indriya Artha, and Pancha Indriya Buddhi are together called as the Pancha Panchakas or 5 pentats. Then you all know which are the Pancha Indriyas. Tatra Chakshu, Sronam, Sotram, Kranam, Rasanam, Sparshanam iti Pancha Indriyani. Then which are the Pancha Indriya Dravyas? See, the Pancha Indriya Dravyas are nothing but the Pancha Mahabhutas. That is Kham, Vayu, Tejo, Rabo, Bhuridi. Pancha Indriya Dravyas are nothing but the Pancha Mahabhutas. Then Pancha Indriya Adhishtanas. That is Akshini, Karnau, Nasige, Jihva, Tvakcha. Where the Indriyas are residing, they are called as the Indriya Adhishtanas. Where Chakshu is residing is Akshi, where Srotram is residing is Karnam, where Kranam is residing is where Rasanam is residing in Jihva, and where Sparshanam is residing is Tvak. That is, they form the Pancha Indriya Adhishtanas. Then next is Pancha Indriya Arthaha. Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandhaha are the Pancha Indriya Arthas. Shabdam, Sparsham, Rupam, Rasam, and Gandha are the Arthas for Indriya. That is what we are perceiving through our indriyas are the indriya arthas. So we are perceiving indriya arthas through our indriyas, which are residing in the indriya adhishtanas, which is constituting the Pancha Indriya Buddhi. That is Chakshur Buddhyadiga. For example, this is a reference from Charaka Samhita, and we will see it much more clearly. That is, in physiology, you will study the special senses. That is special senses. What do you mean by special senses? That is, that sensations need special sense organs that make them special. For example, if you want to see, you need your eyes. If you want to hear, you need your ears. If you want to smell, you need your nose. And if you want to taste, you need your tongue. So you need special sense organs for the sensations that make it special sensations. So the pathway of perception of sensations, that is, you are perceiving the indriya dravyas, which are nothing but the Panchamahabhutas, through your indriyas. You are perceiving the indriya dravyas, that is Panchamahabhutas, as indriya arthas through your indriya, which is situated in the indriya adhisthana, which constitute your indriya buddhi. Once again, you are perceiving the Panchamahabhutas. They are nothing but the indriya dravyas as the indriya arthas, that is through your indriya, which is situated in the indriya adhisthana, which constitutes the indriya buddhi. I will make you clear. That is, for example, you are perceiving light as a rupa. Rupa means maybe your pen or your pencil or book, your anything you are perceiving, seeing through your eyes is your indriya artha. Through your indriya, that is, the indriya is nothing but chakshu, that is retina. That retina is situated in your eyes, that is indriya adhisthana. That is, you are perceiving your indriya dravya through as an indriya artha through your indriya, which is situated in the indriya adhisthana as your indriya buddhi. Here you are perceiving light as any rupa through your retina, which is situated in the eyes, and that sensation will be processed in your occipital lobe, where the visual center is situated. Likewise, you can imbibe this concept with all your sensations, all your special senses. So here comes the importance of Panchamahabhutas. You are perceiving the Panchamahabhutas through your indriyas. Then finally, the science of Atma. Atma is a concept of Ayurveda, and then the peculiarity of Atma is we cannot perceive Atma through your indriyas. Atma can be perceived only through certain indicators. For example, this is a reference from Charaka Samhita. I will read the slogan. Prana apano nimeshadya jivanam manaso gadihi indriyandara sanjaraha preranam dharanam chayad deshandara gadihi swapne panchattva grahanam tada drishtasya dakshine nakshana savye nagamastada ichha dvesha sukha dukham prayatnas chedana dradihi buddhihi smriti rahangaro lingani param atmanaha. So these are certain indicators where a person can perceive the existence of Atma in a particular body. That is Lingani Param Atmanaha. And which are they? And they include movements. If a person is moving, you can infer that a person is living. Or his ability to switch over the sensations. That is Indriyandara Sanjaram. Then ability to hear or ability to memorize or ability for the retention of memory. Then Buddhi, his Smriti, all are indicators of presence of Atma in a particular meaning. Then in this, among the indicators, Acharya has given a particular indicator, that is Panchattva Grahanam. Panchattva Grahanam is nothing but Acharya is telling about death. Okay. In spite of using the word Maranam or Maranam, Acharya has used a very beautiful word, that is Panchattva Grahanam. That is ability to die. If a person died means you can infer that that person was living. So death is another important indicator of existence of Atma. So that is nothing but Panchattva Grahanam. That is, we all came from Panchamahabhutas and we will all go back to the Panchamahabhutas. That is, Panchattva Grahanam is an indicator of existence of Atma according to Charaka Samhita. So I think we have winded up. Thank you. And I thank you all for your patient listening. And I thank all the faculties of Kriya Sharira for giving me this opportunity. And I thank you all. Thank you again.
What an insightful and inspiring session it was. I'm sure that this wisdom will guide us through various thick and thins throughout our academic journeys. Thank you, ma'am. Now let us have a small question and answer session. Anyone here who has doubts or any query can stand up and ask, ma'am. Any questions, anyone? Ma'am, I would like to ask one question. Ma'am, what was Indriya Artha that you mentioned in one flowchart?
One second. I'll share the screen. What was your doubt?
Ma'am, Indriya Ardha. In one flowchart, it
Artha
was.
means what you are perceiving through your Indriya is your Indriya Artha. For example, you are perceiving your notebook. That is the Indriya Artha. Okay, you are hearing a song. That song is your Indriya Artha. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would request Dr. Devi Nair, ma'am, HOD, Kriya Sharir department, to say a few words.
Good morning to all. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Amrutha for taking time for sharing all these insights to us. Then actually, she was my colleague. She is the best friend of our Navodaya Raju sir. Okay. So anyhow, already we studied about Panchamahabhoota during our first time, hai na? When we started our class that time, I taught you for getting a little bit of knowledge regarding Panchamahabhoota. Actually, previously it was there in our syllabus, Panchamahabhoota Siddhanta, Tradosha Siddhanta and Triguna Siddhanta. Now it is, they removed, NCSM is removed all these points and the concept of Purusha and one more. I forgot. Okay, so all these points were there previously, but now they excluded all these points and included in Padartha Vijnana, but that is in second term. So that is why the students are struggling a lot to understand the concept of Kriya Sharir. Okay, that is there. Then also I taught you for getting, for easy understanding the concept of Kriya Sharira, but that is only 5%. Okay, so then actually today's session is a revision for you. Then along with that, you got so many other points also. Okay, so it was a very thought sharing session. Then thank you, Dr. Amrutha, for this. Okay, thanks a lot. Then Navodaya sir, actually, because of him only this is happened. Okay, he has taken all the initiative for conducting this program. Okay, then kya hai? So thank you, Anna and all. What I am thinking is you understood what she conveyed. Already all of you have gone through all those points. Along with that, you got some of the new points also. Okay, so she has selected all the concept that is there in our Shastra and for substantiating the theory of Panchamahabhoota Siddhanta, that is Sarvam Dravyam Panchabhautikam. Okay, all the corners, how the acharyas are explained for substantiating this particular concept. She collected everything and she shared it very well. Okay, thank you, Dr. Amrutha, for this.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite my fellow batchmate, Goldie, to deliver the vote of thanks. Please give her a huge round of applause.
respected dignitaries, faculty members, and dear friends. On behalf of all the students, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished guest, Dr. Amrutha B.L. ma'am, for sharing her valuable knowledge and insights with us today. Your lecture was truly enlightening and inspiring. I would also like to express our sincere gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Surendra Singh sir, and our respected Registrar, Pradeep Rao sir, whose constant motivation and encouragement made this academic session possible. We are deeply thankful to our principal, Dr. Gridha Vedantam sir, Vice Principal, Dr. Kamlesh Pandey sir, and our respected HOD, Dr. Devi Nair ma'am, and Assistant Professor, Dr. Navodaya Raju sir. IT support, Kamlesh Nayan sir, whose instrumental guidance and support played a vital role in the successful conduct of this program. A special thanks to the Department of Kriya Sharir for organizing this enriching session and to all the faculty members and students for their enthusiastic participation. Thank you all.
Indeed, we are truly grateful for today's session and the knowledge gained is intensely valuable. I again thank Dr. Amrita ma'am for this session and conclude today's lecture. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you again.